Hey, what's up, everybody? Once again, it's your man Danelle, aka Small Guy Promotions, aka the Omaha Fatty, coming with another podcast episode of What's Up, Omaha. I have my homie Isis with us today of B Star Sewing. How are you doing today, Isis?
Good. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Got some jujitsu in today. Feeling good. My workout for the day, so I'm good.
Cool,
How
cool,
are
cool.
you? What's going on with you in your world today?
Today is pretty chill. Pretty chill.
Yeah.
Getting sewing in. Getting some mask orders made. That's what it is today.
Yep. So,
Um,
and that's why we're here, of course, to talk about your business. And, uh, you know, as we talked about, um, you were on the podcast before. I can't even remember how long ago it was, but I feel like it was at least a year ago.
I
Um,
think it was 2 years.
yeah, was it? It was that long?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years.
Oh man, it could have been. It could have. I'll have to go back and look. But yeah, at that time, the interview took place at your business at your location. Um, One of the reasons that I wanted to talk to you today was because you don't have a physical location anymore. Things have changed up a little bit for you, right?
But a
All right,
lot.
so what's going on with it's all due to COVID, correct? Like you decided to
Yes,
close down the shop and do it online.
yes, sir. Um, so we were open beginning of the year, January, everything was fine. February, everything was fine. And then March hit and everything got crazy. Um, and I think things got crazy for everybody in March.
Yeah, yeah, so
So
crazy.
yeah, so I actually closed as soon as they made the announcement that COVID was highly contagious and could kill people. I was like, yeah, I'm out. I don't need people coming in breathing on me breathing on them. We're good. So I went ahead and closed the physical location and started to transition everything to online.
Right.
And
Hey,
that has been
can you keep
an
that down,
adventure.
please? Sorry.
That has been an adventure all on its own. So I went from 1,400 square feet of the bay that you visited me in a couple years ago to 140 square feet, which is a spare bedroom at my house.
That's just only a little difference.
Just
It's only a
just
little difference.
90%, just 90%. Um, and a lot of the other equipment and so on is in a storage unit because I couldn't fit it in my house.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, there was even a point where I had to sell a lot of my equipment to pay the rent that I still had to pay because my stuff was still in the business bay, even though I was trying to leave
Right.
because you got a lease, you're
Right. Yep.
obligated to pay rent no matter what's going on. So yeah, but the landlord was really cool about working with me on that. So he's a cool dude.
Yeah, and you said you had been there some years, so I mean, you guys kind of build up a relationship and a
Yeah,
rapport where you built that trust.
yeah. We had been in that bay for 10 years.
Oh man.
Yeah,
So quite the change.
quite.
Yeah.
Quite. So for 10 years, I was used to leaving my house and having all kinds of space to do all the projects I was working on. And now I'm down to a table and some plastic drawers. Yeah.
So
So
I mean, aside from the physical moving thing, like how was it? How did your clients, because you do sewing classes, what was the transition like for those guys? And has it been harder for you to get new clients or new students for those classes now, or easier?
so I've had a couple of new students. I mean, business is a little bit slower because we're still trying to get the word out that we're no longer a physical location. Right. So um, I know people have probably driven by and been like, oh, they're just closed because it's empty.
Right.
So we're working on getting the word out that it is still available. Classes are still available. They're just available online rather than in person for the safety of everyone.
Yep.
And so the guild that was at the sewing guild that was at the studio
Hmm.
is still going. So we still have workshops. Instead of having them in the studio, they're online. The other night we had a workshop for a uh, little thing, this little zipper pouch, how to make this. Um, and we've had a messenger bag workshop. We've had the workshops we would have had anyway, just online. So you can take a workshop in your pajamas
Yeah.
rather than having to get decent and leave the house. Um, so the students that were already taking classes are just taking classes with me online. Um, and then we've got some new students. Um, teaching class online is a little bit easier for me because I don't have to leave the house.
Right.
Right. Um, I still have to get decent because you're gonna see me, but
Yeah.
um, so it's not that much of a change. The space is the biggest change,
Right.
but the teaching and communicating with the students is really not that much different than in person.
Have you gotten any feedback from your students who were there prior to all the
Yep.
changes? Have they provided any feedback for you?
Yes. There's actually a review on the Sewing Studio Facebook page from a student that said uh, she enjoyed the online class just as much as the in-line class or in class.
Yeah. See, and that's cool. I mean, if you can keep your customers, your students, your clients, whatever you classify them as, uh, satisfied and receiving the same type of experience. I mean, it's probably like you said, it's easier for you because you don't have to go anywhere. Well, it's easier for them, like you said, they don't have to go anywhere either. They can dress however they want to dress and don't have to worry about getting up and going. So it's
You
a
do have to wear
time
clothes.
saver.
You do have to wear clothes to attend class.
Yeah. Yes. don't be don't be showing up to the Zoom meeting with no clothes. Yes. You got to put that disclaimer on there, like,
Even though you're at home, you do need to have clothes on.
like don't be too comfortable. Like, hey, you never know with people, man. They're at home. They're like, man, I'm at home. I'm in my house. I'm gonna dress how I want to dress in my house. This is not my job. I'm gonna feel comfortable.
Oh,
I don't know. But no, that's super cool though. Like, again, that you can still provide that service, and especially when a lot of businesses have been forced to close down permanently and haven't been able to keep that going.
yeah,
It's nice to see that you were able to transition, and I assume it happened fairly quickly because I mean, COVID just
yeah,
seemed like it just came out of the blue.
yeah. It happened real quick.
Yeah, yeah. So the term that a lot of people use is fluid. I know at my job and stuff that they say it's fluid.
Yeah,
So
it's always changing.
yep, we don't know what's coming next, and we'll see. So aside from the space difference, are there any other challenges that you've come up across or come across that?
I mean, mostly just space.
Yeah, that's just it. Well, and so
Space. And
can
a little
we
bit.
go
Oh, I'm
ahead?
sorry. A little bit of reaching people advertising. So usually we would. I keep saying we.
I do that sometimes too. It's yeah, you yeah.
Well, it is we because it's myself. I have an assistant,
Right.
Angela, who's now the moderator for the online classes. She
Oh,
used
okay,
to be
cool.
a teaching assistant for in class, and now she's a moderator for online. So it's still we.
Okay,
Uh,
cool.
yeah. So we have usually just advertised on Facebook because everybody's on Facebook, right?
Right, right. And it's free.
And now everybody's on Facebook.
Yeah.
And Facebook is a pretty cheap way to advertise.
It is. It is. It's very.
You
It
know,
can be very beneficial.
yeah. So I'm actually starting to use some other platforms, and Angela's helping me a lot with Instagram because I am not a hashtag person.
Oh, yep. Yep. There's different ways to post on different platforms for sure.
Yes. So Instagram requires hashtags evidently to get your stuff noticed. So I'll post something and she'll see it and she'll send me an email. She's like, now you need to add these 500 hashtags to the post. Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
but she knows what she's talking about. So I'm glad she's helping me out with that.
So, you know, that's a hurdle in itself if you're not used to using different platforms and whatnot and trying to get out there more. And that's always changing. Also, there's always new platforms that pop up that people are flocking to, and you know, I feel like Facebook, it's been some years. It's like 10, 15 years that people have been active on that. So even though new things are popping up, it sticks around. And Instagram is a part of Facebook now. So, it's cool to have both of those, under your wings and try to get out there. So
Yeah.
pretty effective and efficient if used properly. So that's cool. Um, the space that you say is like a big hurdle. Can you tell people why that space is such a huge hurdle and all the equipment that you had set up at your location that you were not able to fit in your space now?
Yes. So I had, I think it was 16 sewing machines, and 5 of them were my personal sewing machines, and the rest of them were for students.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we had 8 6-foot tables set up. You're not going to fit that in 140 square feet.
Yeah.
8 6-foot tables set up. Each table had a chair. Each table had its own ironing board, like a tabletop like this one, like a tabletop ironing board.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody had their own little personal workspace when they came to class, or if they came to open sew, you had your own little personal workspace to do whatever you wanted to do. When there were no students in the space, so like when class wasn't going on, I used the space and just spread out all my projects that I was working on and could work on multiple projects at once.
Yeah.
So let's say I was working on masks over here. So this table would have masks on it. This other table would have a bag getting put together on it. When I got bored working on masks, I'd go over and work on the bag. When I got bored working on the bag, I'd go work on something else. So that was awesome, having all that space to be able to have multiple projects going on at once. The major thing was we had cutting tables that were 8-foot tables. That's
Mm-hmm.
not fitting. We had 2 8-foot tables. They had bed risers underneath the table legs. They bring them up higher for cutting because you don't want to bend over to cut stuff because it will jack up your back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So those were set up pretty much all the time because somebody was always needing to cut something for a project. So now I have this, I have one of the fold out tables from the studio in my space here, but it's set up for sewing level. If I wanted to cut on it, I'd have to take everything off of it, put the bed risers under it, lift it up, cut my stuff, get done cutting my stuff, take everything off,
Put it all
take
back.
the risers, yeah. So I am working on finding a solution to that problem because I have been hurting my back cutting stuff out. Because I don't want to go through all the extra hurdles of getting the table to cutting height and back
Right.
down. So, sure, there's some solution out there. I'll find it. But for space, I had a lot of containers and little drawers that had accessories or whatever parts for putting stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
Like a zipper, a drawer that was nothing but zippers, a drawer that was nothing but D-rings, a drawer that was magnetic snaps, and now everything is kind of compressed into much smaller drawers, but then there's like multiple things in a drawer. So I've had to like write on them what exactly is in this drawer. So I'm not like, is it in here? Is it in here? Nope, it's in here. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, I have to make it work because I have to make it work.
Yep.
But
Yep. Yeah, especially it's not easy, so you gotta cut some things out sometimes to make it work a little better. And you said you had to sell some of your pieces. So how many machines are you down to now?
I sold all of my rentable machines. So the students would rent machines when they came in for class. If they didn't bring a machine with them, they could rent a machine. I sold all of those, and I sold all but 2 of my sergers. I had quite a few sergers.
Now, what does a serger do?
A serger is the professional finishing on clothes. So like on your t-shirt, if you flip up your sleeve here,
Mm-hmm.
that stitching there is done by a serger.
Okay.
And it just keeps fabric from fraying. So every time you wash fabric, some of it disappears.
Yeah.
So it just keeps that from fraying. So you have your clothes longer.
Okay, cool. You're like the pro, you know all that stuff. So
But
I'm like,
speaking of sergers, there is a serger workshop coming up. So I'll teach you how to thread it, how to use it, how to stitch around curves with it, how to stitch corners with it, all that good stuff.
so when you're doing that class, are you in surgery? I mean,
this is a serger workshop.
I mean, maybe that's where all that comes from, all the stitching and
And the main reason I teach the serger workshop is there are sergers that self-thread. So threading a serger is difficult. That's just a given. You've
Okay.
got 4 spools of thread and 2 needles, and 2 of the spools of thread go to the inside of the workings of the machine, and the other 2 go to the needles. But you kind of have to know what goes where and blah blah blah. But there are sergers that self-thread, and I hear a lot of people talking about, oh, they're worth it and blah blah blah. A self-threading serger is like $2,000.
Ooh,
I don't own one.
you better
I
be
just
doing
I,
some high quality, high money stuff to pay for that.
I just concentrated on learning how to thread the serger and get it done. And I try to encourage other people that want to use a serger, just concentrate on learning how to thread it the hard way,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the more affordable way. Because the sergers I have were about 200 or 250,
Yeah, it's
and
big.
they work just fine. Versus $2,000
Yeah,
to get it to thread itself. I
yeah,
mean, if you have that kind of money and you're able to spend it, fantastic. Go ahead and get that $2,000 serger and save some time on threading your serger. But I don't own a sewing machine that costs more than $300, and that's on purpose. And that's also to let students that were coming through class know you don't have to spend 1,500 or $3,000 on a sewing machine if you're just starting out.
yeah. Because I would assume that can be kind of intimidating. And you're like, oh man,
Intimidating.
especially if it's just something that you're trying out and you're new to, and you don't even know if you're gonna like it yet. Or
Yeah. So if you can't sew yet, if you don't know how to sew yet, that $1,500 sewing machine is not going to automatically make you be able to sew.
yeah,
You're going to learn how to sew. So it doesn't come with magic powers that you turn it on and all of a sudden you can just make stuff. Um, so even if you get a sewing machine off Facebook Marketplace for like 30 or 40 or $60 or whatever, I've gotten for a little while. I had like an addiction of buying sewing machines off Facebook Marketplace,
yeah.
and we're like, "Ooh, I don't have that machine. I'm gonna get that one because it's a good price." Um, so I even had to sell those too.
Man,
Yeah. So
you have any? Well, you said they're all less than $300. I was gonna say, you ever like have any of those nice ones? You take it to like the antique road show, and they're like, oh, yes, this is worth $10,000.
so I do have a Necky. I think I'm saying it right. Necky leather machine, which is I'm pretty sure from no, it is from the '60s. It's from the '60s or '70s. Um, so there's this cool thing, kind of morbid thing about buying used sewing machines because somebody else owned it, right?
Right.
And sometimes you get their stuff with the sewing machine.
Oh, okay.
So I think I bought it last year or the year before, and that Necky is an Italian-made sewing machine. So it's a solid machine. Um, the lady that previously owned it, I assumed was probably no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and her family was selling her sewing machine, and they sold all of her stuff with it. So I got all this cool stuff from like the '70s and '80s, which was like, it was like opening up a time capsule.
Yeah.
Yeah, including the check that she had written for the machine, which was stuffed into the manual for the machine.
Yeah.
That was like really cool finding that stuff. It was kind of sad going through it because you're like, wow, this lady took really good care of this machine and this is her stuff. But at the same time, I was like, this is awesome. This lady really took care of this stuff, and the machine is like in perfect working condition, and like, yeah, but it's too heavy for me to bring into the house. So it's in the storage unit.
Okay.
But yeah, but that machine is specifically for sewing leather. So like making handbags and stuff.
Okay.
Which I know how to do. Because I teach that.
So then does that mean that, like, as far as the different types of products that you can make, are you limited right now and then, or do you still have, are you still able to do 100% of the items that you were able to do before?
I'm still able to do 100%. I
Okay.
have a smaller heavy duty machine that just fits on the table here. So like this machine here is just like regular duty, just
Okay.
bending clothes, making masks, stuff like that. Your heavy duty machine has a more powerful motor. The insides, the working insides are metal versus the inside of this is plastic. And
Yeah.
I know that. It's, you know. So your heavy duty machine, the insides are metal. So it's going to be able to punch through thicker fabric.
Okay.
So pleather, uh, vinyl, denim, and several layers of it.
Okay.
So I'm still able to make the messenger bags and the tote bags and stuff like that. I have yet to make a leather bag. And that's the only reason that I can say I can still make the stuff I was making anyway, because I haven't made a leather bag yet, but I have the machine to make leather bags.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. But no, the bags that we're already teaching and already making, we're still making those. Yeah.
So when you're going through these classes, you're making these items. Are you selling those items after you're done with that class, or like you just got a pile of stuff in a corner?
Both. So I have two very large containers full of items that were made for classes. So like every time the class makes an item, I make that same item with the class. So I have an endless amount of zipper pouches, an endless amount of placemats, endless, just whatever projects got made.
Mm-hmm.
There are multiples of them, and they will be posted for sale very soon on the website.
Cool. Cool.
They were for sale at the studio. Like when you first came in, they were
Yeah.
up on the wall for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now they're in containers waiting to be sold online. Yep.
And those will just everything will be on the website. Yeah. So
Everything. Right.
you have the classes that you have the merchandise. How many different aspects of your business are there?
So yep, the sewing classes, the boutique is now part of the sewing studio because now it's just sewing stuff. Um, I'm gonna start selling grab bags, mostly because I gotta empty that storage unit sometime. So we actually had a meeting and decided that actually my sister suggested that we sell grab bags and stuff while we were packing. She's like, there's a lot of nice stuff in here that you shouldn't just sell cheap. You should do grab bags for it, so then people get like a variety of really nice stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and we can sell it for a decent price. So we're going to start doing grab bags. And then the other aspect of, I guess it's kind of the same business but a different business, is I teach classes on technology subjects and small business startup. Now these are usually classes that I teach through Metro Community College, MCC. But then I also teach those same classes. I just teach those classes for whoever wants to take them. Yep.
So again, how long or how often do your classes run? And are people just going to the website to sign up?
Yep. So the classes are 4 weeks, and they generally start at the beginning of the month. So right now I have to update the website for September schedule. But so let's say a class is on Monday nights, so it'll be 4 Mondays in the month,
Mm-hmm.
3 hours a night. Sometimes it's 2.5, depends on how the project goes. So some of the classes are a little bit shorter, some of them are a full 3 hours. And the classes cover not only there's a project that gets completed each night,
Mm-hmm.
but it also covers content. So sewing techniques, sewing information, information about fabric, needles. Like there's a lot of stuff covered in classes. It's not just 3 hours and we're working on one project. Like the first part of the class is actual content that you need to know for sewing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second half of the class is actually making a project that ties into the content that we covered in the first half.
Okay. So,
And then
oh,
yes, the second is on the website. Yeah.
okay, cool. So could this be kind of like a benefit for you though, with having to move to online? Because before, you had a certain amount of machines. Since it's online now, and you're not restricted to that space. I mean, I know we talked about it being a nice size space, but if you got, say, 20 people who wanted to sign up for a class, I mean, you're not restricted by that size limit now because everybody's at their own place.
So now I can actually teach more people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
before it was limited to 8 people per class, because that's how many tables that we had space to set up for.
Right.
But yeah, now I could teach 20 people and they wouldn't all have to be in Bellevue or Omaha or Council Bluffs. They could be from the other side of the world. As long
Yeah.
as as long as they were able to log in on Zoom, they could take class.
And is there like so for a person who hasn't taken a class before, but is interested in possibly doing so, do you have like a guideline or like a prep kit for them of things that they need for the class?
Yes. So we have a like a basic prerequisite, which basically teaches you how to wind a bobbin, thread your machine properly, stitch, how to stitch a straight line. That is like the bane of everybody who's learning to sew. How do I stitch a straight line? You practice. It doesn't magically happen. You got to sew a lot of stuff before
Right.
you can sew a straight line. Um, and then we cover pretty much the basics to get started in that class, so that when you come to, let's say, the 101 class, we don't have to spend any time on how you set up your machine. You're ready to sew when that class starts, when that 101 class starts.
Okay.
So, but then there's a lot of times I get somebody that has been sewing their whole life and they don't need to take that prerequisite. And basically that's just a telephone conversation between me and them. Tell me about the stuff that you've been sewing or your sewing experience, and maybe send me a picture of the last couple of things that you made, just so I can see what you're making. And that has usually worked out fantastically. Only one or two times did I have somebody that was like, yeah, and I've sewn before, and then they got to whatever class it was like, how do I thread my machine? Like, but you said you could sew. So now there's that prerequisite class. And if you're interested in learning to sew, just tell me you have not sewn before. It's not a big deal. The beginning class is only a 2 or 3 hour workshop, and you get caught right up and you're ready to jump into the 101 class and start making stuff.
And
So
and do they need other items aside from the sewing machine for that class? Or I
yes,
mean,
yep, there's a
not just
supply
an item?
list. Yep, there's a supply list.
Yeah.
And I do also sell beginner kits.
Oh, okay, cool.
Everything that's on the supply list, I will sell to you in a kit. I can mail it to you. You don't have to go running around in Walmart and Joann's and Hobby Lobby and everywhere else trying to buy stuff.
Cool.
It's all in one kit ready to go.
Cool. Yeah, that's nice. I know. I don't know if you remember us talking about this, but we bought a sewing machine. It's probably been a couple years now. We had. I used to work with a gentleman who he's I think he's probably close to 80 now. So
Okay.
him and his wife were moving from Omaha. Well, they lived over in Ralston, and they moved out to Hastings to be closer to their daughter. Um, so we bought this Singer sewing machine, and it's one of the ones. It's got like a desk, and it like it hides away and whatnot. It doesn't work. There's something wrong that needs to be fixed on it. But yeah, we've got that. So I don't know. Maybe some point my wife will look into something like that or not. But definitely got to get that fixed first. And that might be one of those ones that I don't know. I don't know anything about sewing machines, so I don't know
I,
if that's. I don't know how old it is or like anything
you
else.
should send me a picture of it.
Okay, I can do
I
that.
can tell you exactly what it is.
I can do that.
And then on the back of it, on the back of it, on the back, it'll
Mhm.
tell you the model number and everything on a little metal plate.
Okay,
Yep.
I have to do that.
Take a
Yeah.
picture of that. Send that to me too.
Okay, I'm not sure. It's been so long, I can't even remember what they said was wrong with it. But you know,
It could
uh,
be something simple. It could be something expensive.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's. Well, you know what? If anything, if it is expensive, I mean, I'm sure we didn't pay a lot for it. I don't even remember. It couldn't have been too much that we spent for it, but that if we can't get it in working condition and it's something that she may not use, maybe we'd sell it. I don't know. It's just sitting in the basement right now. I mean, it's in the corner, not doing anything. So, but it would be nice to learn more about it. Maybe I could Google it too. I guess I just never really think about it because it's down in the basement.
I I have fixed a couple of sewing machines via Google, via YouTube,
Nice. Yeah,
via
that
YouTube.
hey, I always say, how do people get along back in the day without Google? Like, you need to know how to do something. Google.
You had
Like,
to know somebody that knew somebody that knew how
yeah,
to fix.
they don't know the struggle. They don't know the struggle. They don't know about working phones and all that stuff.
You're like, oh, this is broke. How do I fix this?
Yeah, right. I say that all the time. Like, man, what did people used to do? Like, I've had so many conversations when I'm like, you remember back in the day when you would be going over somebody, and this is not even when you were just like a kid. This is like as a teen, where you would go over somebody's house or you would be going to some place for the first time, and they'd have to give you directions and
Yep.
like, hey,
You had to write them down.
take the second left on Jones Street, then go down a block to whatever Ave, and it's the third one on the left. And now you just put it in Google, and it takes you right to the like, yo. So we're spoiled nowadays. So
It's crazy how much stuff is crammed into a cell phone.
man, yeah,
A camera, a calculator, GPS. Remember them GPS things used to suction cup to the windshield?
yep. They used to be like everybody. Like I worked at even this was 5 years ago. I worked at Best Buy part time, and people were still buying like Garmins and whatever else, all that stuff. So,
You know you can get that in a phone now, right?
yep. Shoot, you don't even have to have it in your phone. Your car will tell you, like it's already in the car.
Yeah.
That Siri and whatever else, the GM thing
Yep.
that I'm never paying I'm not buying that thing, whatever it is. So you can just leave me alone, person.
OnStar. OnStar.
I'm sorry, yeah, like yeah, I'm not. No, thank you, I'm good.
Like, can we take that out? Will that bring down the price of the car?
Yeah, right. Well, now, like, what do you need that for? Like, you got your cell phone. The cell phone connects to the car through Bluetooth. So, what do I need OnStar for? I can call 911 by just hitting the button on the thing and saying "call 911."
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
oh, but yeah, I don't know. But are there any other things that you want to tell the people about like your class or just about the process of you transitioning from a physical location to being online? Any things that any challenge other challenges or any other things you want to celebrate about the process?
Um, I realized the other day that I forgot to change my address in all of this. So now I don't have a business address.
Yeah,
I don't want to use my house.
right.
Like strangers don't need to people that are ordering masks and I'm mailing masks out. You don't need to know where I live.
Yeah. PO box.
So I need to get a PO box. And then I also need to update my address with the state for the LLC. Yeah.
Yep.
So those are two things that I realized like in the middle of the night. So I was like, I forgot to change my address. So, but that's a paperwork fix. That's pretty
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I do have my address. So when we moved, you know, I talked to my CPA and about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, we'll just put this stuff when you file, we'll just whatever." Okay, cool. So, and then you get that, by what is it? By I can't remember. Every 2 years, where you have to pay the like
Yeah,
20.
the biennial.
Yeah, biennial. Yeah, that's what it's called. That yeah,
Yep.
whatever. I mean, there's these things that it's not a big deal. Address
It's not.
changes.
It's not. It's
Who
easy.
knows with the post office maybe going away? That's a different topic for a
It's
different
like
day.
I read about it every day on the news. I'm just like, why?
Yeah,
Why?
like, they're taking
Um,
boxes.
like, and as soon as I just started using the post office a whole lot more than I had been,
I just bought some stamps.
really, I just want some stuff. Dude, that click and ship that you can print out your shipping label
Hmm.
from your dude, that is amazing stuff.
Yeah,
I have not had to go to the post office at all.
nice.
I
And
can
you're
just
putting out a lot of stuff.
slap it on the box, and I even bought pre-cut sticker paper that is the exact size of the label
Nice.
because I got sick and tired of cutting it. It's like, so there's actually a company that sells pre-cut sticker paper that's the same size for printing mailing labels on.
Nice.
You can just peel it off and stick it on the box. That is like the easiest stuff ever.
Nice.
I'm glad to have that.
Are you on that note? Are you doing a lot of orders right now? I know you said you were doing masks. I mean, that's like the main thing that you're creating right now.
I am very busy making masks.
Nice.
Pretty much as soon as Omaha mentioned having a mask mandate, my order form like blew up,
And
which is good.
is that a lot of individual clients, or is that like a business level, or
Mostly individuals.
okay?
Mostly individuals, yeah.
You need to get some of that
Um,
money when you get one of them businesses that come in. Like, I need 500 masks.
I did receive a estimate request for an order of 175 for a wedding.
Oh, nice.
I'm still waiting to hear back on that one. But that's I ran the math on that. I'm like, please say yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of masks, man. So
A lot of masks. But yeah, and I'm I'm making the Olsen pattern, but it's modified. But I think only other people that are making masks would even know what that is.
yeah, I don't know.
So it's all good. So the first couple patterns that came out were just two pieces of fabric sewn together and had elastic loops sewn into it. All right. Which was good enough for like when things were just starting to get crazy. If you wanted a mask and you needed one, great, put that on. The ones I'm making now are like Lamborghinis compared to the first one that I made. And so there's 3 layers of fabric. It's still cotton, still 100% cotton. I'm not using interfacing because that hinders people breathing. You don't need something that's not made to be breathable in front of your face ever. Not using vinyl, not using any crazy materials like that. So everything's still 100% cotton.
Yeah.
But it's 3 layers between you and the rest of the world with a pocket that you can put a Kleenex in there, since Kleenexes were engineered to stop sneezes. That is the purpose of a Kleenex. So you can fold up a Kleenex and stick it in the pocket if you want it a little like an extra layer between you and the rest of the world.
Nice.
So I do have a client that specifically asks for elastic bands. So I've got elastic, but that's basically just for her orders. And she orders for me a lot, and I appreciate that. So she's ordering and then sending them to her family members that are not in Nebraska.
Oh, okay, cool.
So she's made a couple large orders and sent them to Florida because we know Florida is lit right now with COVID.
Yeah.
And a couple other places. Um, but I usually use a shoestring to um, have a little more, I want to say suction, but it's not really suctioning to your face, but keeps it closer to your face, and a little metal clip in the nose to take the shape of your nose to keep it close to your face so that
Oh,
you don't
cool.
have any stuff like getting in the mask, because that's what we're trying to avoid anyway, right?
Right.
Um, and then sometimes on the ones that have elastic, the sides have space to where air might be able to get in. But mine are basic. There's no air coming in. It's just you're breathing your air,
Nice.
right? Um, but yeah, so definitely making masks. I'm still accepting mask orders. Um, I have a child size mask, a teenager size, and adult size.
Cool, cool. It's nice to have those options because I know my daughter, my youngest, like my wife had ordered some online, and some of them came, and she's like, "It's too big. Like it doesn't fit." Like so, I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, we have a few, but who knows? We might need some more. Who knows how long all this is going on?
And when I'm not making them for orders, I'm making them for myself, so I have a nice little stockpile of them. Because yeah, I don't know what else is going to happen, how many we're going to need.
Yeah.
But if we need a lot of them, they're going to be in my drawer, ready to go.
Have you noticed like this just popped in my head? Since you're getting more orders, and I mean, I feel like I see so many people making masks. I can't say it with the S on the end. Masks. But we had the whole deal with the toilet paper products, the
Yeah,
cleaning supplies,
yeah.
the beef and the vegetables and everything going up because of the ban. Are you seeing an increase in cost for your supplies?
Um, I have so much cotton fabric that I haven't had to get any.
Ah, nice.
So I don't know if the price is different or not. Um, a couple weeks ago, I did have to buy some black fabric because I ran out. Because black masks are actually a pretty hot item.
Okay.
Yeah, so I finally ran out of black cotton and had to order some, but I had a coupon to get it, so it really per yard. I just had it shipped to my house.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, I can't even like tell you how much yardage of cotton that I have.
Well, that's a
That I
good problem to have.
yeah, that I
So,
cut that cut being a fabric hoarder.
where where can people find you online and find out more about your classes and any of the items that you have? So, what is all that information?
So the website is bstarsewing.com. You'll be able to find the boutique page within B-Star Sewing. Um, there's an order form for masks on the boutique page. The what's it called? I think it says classes. The classes page has all the classes on it. Um, or it might say sewing. I can't remember right now. It's either sewing or classes tab where all the classes are at. There is a form if you have just general questions. You can contact me via contact form. You don't have to sign up for anything to ask questions. Um, there are RSVP forms if you want to RSVP for an event. A free event, there's two different forms. The free event, you can just RSVP and say, hey, I'd like to attend this event if there's an event happening. And then the other form is to actually RSVP for a class, at which point I'll contact you and send you an invoice for the class. We don't have live PayPal buttons on the website anymore, but we're still using PayPal for payment.
Cool.
And that's because we had like a little bit where random people were signing up for classes that maybe they'd never taken a sewing class in their life, but they signed up for the garment class. The garment class obviously has prerequisites.
Right.
And it costs me money to give somebody a refund.
Yeah.
So I was just like, well, now you have to ask for an invoice
Yeah.
instead of just it being here, because that
Yeah.
that started to add up.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
when they pay and you pay the
the fee.
percentage,
Mm-hmm.
when you refund that, you already still paid the percentage. You don't get that back, right?
PayPal keeps a percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah, PayPal keeps a percentage. That used to not happen. That did happen for years, and then like 6 months or a year ago, PayPal was like, "Yeah, we're keeping your fees when you refund people." Like,
But,
thanks, PayPal.
yeah. 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 I'm coming, and it's not even your fault. So that's the.
No, no. So, but PayPal is a business, and they got to make their money too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, if I own PayPal, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
So, not mad at them.
Yeah.
Um, and then, of course, there's links to the Facebook page and Instagram from the website. Um, but of course, facebook.com/bstar sewing and Instagram.com/bstar sewing. And then the classes, the business classes and technology classes are iGertig, which is me making fun of Apple by putting an I in front of my last name. So this is iGertig.com.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we
So
will make sure to again put all that in the description, in the details section of the podcast. It's getting. I keep looking around, and it's not that I'm not paying attention, but I don't know if you have any windows in your
it's
room.
getting dark out.
Yeah, it's getting
Is
dark, and I can hear the thunder coming. So I'm like, okay, I get it. We better wrap it up here soon. But
Oh, and you're further out west than I am too.
I'm only in Papillion though, so
That's still west.
yeah,
So maybe it's not quite here yet.
yeah, it's quite dark compared to what it was 20 minutes ago, I think.
Yeah,
So
I don't see any sunlight coming in the curtains here.
yeah, yeah.
Now that I'm paying attention to it, there is no sunlight.
So I was like, man, okay, is it really coming in? Yeah, it is. Okay, all right. Yeah. Well, Isis, thank you again for being on, and it's been good to talk to you again, and I'm glad
Thank
to
you for
have you back on the show, be one of our repeat guests. So that's always cool.
Thanks
And,
for having me.
I'll share this all over. It'll be on YouTube. If you guys are watching on YouTube, please subscribe so you can check out when new podcasts are available. We usually have them on Sundays when I have a guest, for sure, Sundays at 11 a.m. If you're listening through Anchor, feel free to send me a voicemail through Anchor. If you have any questions or any comments, you can also listen on most major platforms: Spotify, Google Cast, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Radio Public. List goes on and on. So please share, tell your friends about us, help us grow. That's the whole point of doing this. Is we want to grow together, man, and I want to tell the world about all the great things that Omaha has to offer. So that's what it is. Isis, thank you again for being on. And as we end every episode, smile, help someone else smile, laugh, and help someone else laugh all day, every day. That's what it's about, y'all. Peace out. Get it. Thank you, Isis.